Yes, what's going on, everyone? Good afternoon. My name is Dalis, India, and I am an artist.
Every time I'm doing better, wanna come and waste my time. Since the first time that I met you, you've been playing different sides. Deleted every text I had you blocked up out my mind. You know my type of guy, you be telling too many lies. Who this? Who calling?
Welcome to the Unpleasant Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host, Shampoo, aka Big Shampoo.
It's your boy Sly, the guy, no lie.
We got a very special guest with us today. Let them know who you are, what it is that you do, and where they can find you at.
Yes, what's going on, everyone? Good afternoon. My name is Dalis, India, and I am an artist, entrepreneur, do-it-all, creative, and you can find me on all platforms at DALIS India. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's get into it.
Appreciate you coming through today.
Yes,
Time is time. We ain't gonna waste it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. Go ahead and tell everybody where you grew up and how you got into this music thing.
Okay, so I'm from the Lower East Side in New York.
Okay.
What
borough?
Manhattan.
Okay.
Manhattan. Lower East Side, Manhattan. And
So I got it there.
yeah, that's like more so like Midtown, Upper East Side, so a little up there. But yeah, my family, my grandparents came here from like the Dominican Republic, so just born and raised in the Lower East Side. Being from New York City, you kind of like live in every borough. So I've lived in the Bronx, I've lived in Harlem, I've lived in a bunch of places, but the Lower East Side is like where my church is at, where I did extracurricular activities, where I went to high school, where I went to elementary school, where I had daycare. So that's really the hub for me. And how I got into music was at a very young age. My mom she worked for like nonprofit organizations. So she always
Shout out to that. Nonprofit organization. That's good.
Yeah. No, for real. Like it really is really vital to like for Black and brown kids to have like access to activities just to show yourself, oh, what am I interested in, you know? So I got a lot of stimulation with that. So I think I started like either 4 or 6 years old. I remember that was like my first piano recital. And then going up through middle school, high school, I went to like a gifted school, and then I went to high school in New Hampshire. Yeah, that was like a little.
You said New Hampshire.
Yeah,
I've never heard nobody say
New York City to New Hampshire.
We
Yeah.
had Iowa mentioned. Never New Hampshire.
Yeah.
How was it out in New Hampshire? What does that look like?
So the reason we moved there is because my mom went full time in the military, and when I got there, that's where my music, my music like technical skills, like my technical musical skills, really got fostered and poured into. And yeah, so I was there for like from like 8th grade to like 10th grade.
That's a school for like the gifted?
It wasn't a school for the gifted, but you know, to be completely honest, where it's areas where it's not urban communities, they usually have schools that are really good, a lot of funding. You know, I was in a lot of different sports. I could do any sport that I wanted. I could be in band, but I really just stuck to like the acting classes that they had and like musical composition. But what happened was when I was like 15, I was like, this is kind of dorky. Like I didn't really like think it was something I should keep doing. And at that point, I had played baritone, trombone, trumpet, piano, all types of different instruments.
So you're a musician too as well. Like I said,
artist.
Artist.
I'm a musician, but it's funny because I stepped away from that at around like early teenage years. And when I got to Howard, which I may be jumping ahead, but that's when I was able to reignite my love for music, started back in with poetry. But all throughout my life, I've always been on the stage, always performing arts, whether it was me saying the morning announcements in high school or just hosting a show in school. Like, I've always loved the stage and just being creative. So, yeah.
So, any musical influence from family members? Like, anybody in your family was already in music? Because you said you started at a very young age, 4 years old. Did anybody pass that musical knowledge down? Like, this is what we do in our family, keep the music going?
So, my culture, being Dominican, there's a lot of music associated with everything we do, whether it be going to church, hearing my grandmother sing songs, to how we celebrate when we're having like a baby shower or a birthday. But really, something a lot of people don't know about me is that my uncle was actually on the Andy Milonakis show. Yeah,
Don't
so
call me a B-head.
yeah, my uncle. They known him as Ralphie, so he always would rap, and he's such a vibrant character. And yeah, that was an MTV show. So I think creativity has always been an outlet for my family. My mom's super creative. Like, even though she worked for nonprofit organizations as her career, what she wanted to do, she always loved dance and fashion. She even worked for like Elle magazine at one point. Like, she does it all as well. So for me, I think it's just freedom of expression is really how music, my love for music was ignited, because everybody around me, from my family to people who I was growing up with, was always doing something creative. So.
Okay, so you mentioned Howard. So is that how you got to this area here?
Yes. So when I was in high school, so I spent my first high school years in New Hampshire, and then I moved back to New York. She got reassigned to New York, which was cool. Went to high school, and my guidance counselor was like, "You should apply to Howard. You know, it's HBCU." And I was really interested. And honestly, Howard gave me a scholarship. Yeah.
I'll go too.
Yeah, and honestly, it was the accepted students day that had me like, "Oh yeah, I'm going here."
That walk through was like, "Oh yes, this is it."
Yeah. So, best 4 years of my life. Well, I'm not gonna say that, because when people say that, I'll be like, "You lame." But good portion, good experience for me. I wouldn't change anything about it, and I made a lot of mistakes, but I did win in a lot of ways. For me, Howard, I just was myself. Like, nobody can ever say I was never myself on that campus. And right now, I'm kind of like in isolation mode. So a lot of people I went to Howard, like a lot of my friends, like, I'm sure they might think that, you know, where's that Dalis? Like, what she's doing? But for me, I'm really tapped into like everything music, right? Everything Dalis, India, everything that has to do with music and creativity. And sometimes you need to move out of a space of people to tap into that. But Howard is my family. Like, if I see people who go to Howard, any way I can be involved with Howard, I will always be open to that opportunity. So yeah.
So you've been three major places played volley. Like, which one plays the most, like, has the most effect when it comes to like your music, not just doing music, the music that you make, like your experiences? Are they like the ones you make music about from here, New York, mix, New Hampshire?
It's definitely a mix. I feel like I definitely have a huge lover girl kind of vibe to my music, whether I'm talking about relationships or friendships, you know, very just emotional. Like, I'm an Aquarius, so like I'm emotional. Like, it's not like when I'm upset, it's not just upset, like I'm really upset. Like, when I'm happy, it's not just happy, I'm really happy. So with my music, I try to capture all of those emotions. And honestly, the way I got into music was actually, I did have a falling out with a guy, and he was older. Yeah, I'm like literally in my bag, like literally was acting a dang fool about this dude. But I started writing poems, and I'm like, this would sound fire over a beat. And then I started just getting into it like that. And yeah, I would say it was a combination of things though, because I think, you know, as women, we have a couple heartbreaks in our lives. So
I think I've broken a few.
Yeah.
It's not just women. Y'all just admit it.
Yeah, we talk about it more. So yeah, so that it was just like again, like for me, it's all about being able to express. So that was like probably like the end of my freshman year, I think, was when I really started getting more tapped into like, okay, I'm actually lyrical, you know, I'm actually a poet. So yeah.
So freshman year was your first song you wrote, like your first song you wrote in school, or was your first song you wrote ever?
Freshman year, I started writing songs, never recorded them, had no concept of a recording studio. It's so funny because like you have like musicians who play physical instruments, and I am now being introduced to the other side of it with all this new technology.
One keyboard, go trumpet.
Right, and I'm like, it throws your whole mind off because you study, you know, pencil and paper, like, you know, drawing actual notes and
Reading
musical
notes,
composition, and then, you know, it's just so advanced, and it's amazing. But I think it's definitely a journey to go on to understand, like, okay, you record, and then, you know, you have an engineer, you have a producer. You know, you might record a song and maybe the first mix is not always the best one. You know, I had no concept of that. So 2019, I would say I recorded my first 2 songs ever, and they were both remixes. And both of those songs I wrote in like 15 minutes. And that was when I was like, okay, like, I'm kind of lit. And then I ended up performing those songs on one of Howard's talent shows. And like, I had went viral on campus for like my performance. Like, I was dancing, I was singing, I was rapping. We had like a panel of judges, like celebrity judges. It was like Cash Doll and like 2 other people. So, and she was like vibing to me. Like, she was like, it's videos of her like bopping her head. I didn't end up winning the talent show. It was a talent show. I didn't end up winning, but in my eyes, I won.
You got the experience.
Yeah.
You got the experience to see your craft, to see how people will receive it. That's dope.
You know, the winner isn't the only person that got good music. It's got to pick one.
Yeah.
I see American Idol. I see some when people that wasn't.
You know, there's a big argument about that. You know, they probably didn't all agree on the winner.
Yeah. So, like, having that background of musical talent, does that kind of make it difficult for you or easier when you have like pick beats, or do you make your own beats?
So right now, yes to everything you said, but maybe a little bit of no. Because it's like, for example, right now I'm actually trying to get back into playing piano. So like, that's something I'm doing myself.
I can see this keys too.
Oh, excuse me. But yeah. So for me, still continuing to not influence, but stimulate myself through physical music, and I haven't started making beats yet. But for me, I like to get to the fundamentals. Like, I like to start at the foundation. So I would rather start learning how to play piano, even to just understand the concept of a scale. And now I know I could go ahead and go to a computer and sit there all day and like, but like I said, like, I like to understand. Like, imagine I'm cooking in the kitchen, like, all right, I'm cook all these ingredients, but like, okay, this is garlic from where? Like, what is the purpose of the garlic? You know, this is salt, this is pepper. Like, I like to know what's going into everything that I'm doing. So, yeah, I want to make beats. I want to get into like producing. I want to be self-producing, you know, engineering, all of that. But it's a process. It's a journey. So I'm just taking it one step at a time.
Okay. How has the transition been from just doing music, like you might be performing or you might sing for church, school, anything else? How has it been to do it for yourself now? Like, you make your own music. Like, is there really a difference in between like doing music just to, like, you know, for events and stuff like that, or actually doing music for myself? These are my words, my feelings. What's the biggest difference?
Well, the biggest difference is, like I said, so when I was first doing music in high school or just in that period, I thought it was dorky, right? I thought I was...
It's what you wish your youth on.
Yeah, I'm like, this is lame, like, band sucks, like, no offense to anybody, but I wasn't feeling it.
So this ain't your line.
Right, like, maybe it's because somebody else was telling me to do it, and maybe it's because the grades was associated to an extent, with it to an extent. You know, that can take the fun out of it sometimes. But now, I feel way more liberated and empowered to do and say whatever I want. I will say though, I do try to be conscious with what I'm saying. Like, and this is not me saying nothing about anybody who does rap about these topics, but like, I usually try to challenge myself not to curse as much, like, or talk about just certain things that I feel like are normally talked about coming from women artists. You know, maybe.
The sex sales.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like,
that's what they try to.
I love it. Like, that's them, and I support it. But for me, I know I have a lot of like little girls watching me. Like, I do a lot of mentorship and a lot of community service outside of being an artist, and I just always think about that they're watching me. I also have a little sister, you know, so that in itself makes me think like anything I'm saying and I'm doing, she's gonna look at, she's gonna follow, you know, and yeah, so yeah, that's kind of like my mindset.
So you really like, you put, as an artist yourself, you really put yourself in the music. You don't try to be anybody but yourself within the music. And sell anything, you just give people who you are.
Right.
They say, besides music, whatever forms of art do you use to express yourself?
I think everything is art. So I express myself through painting. I actually have an art business. It's called Art by Primary Colors. We just started it, but I want to get back into that. I love painting. I think it's amazing, and ever since I started, like every painting gets better than the last, and that in itself shows me a lot about what patience and taking your time can do.
When did you start?
I can't do it.
I mean, I remember. I'll tell you guys a funny story. I remember like 2020. We was all in the house. Like everybody
trying to figure out something.
Like, who am I at that point?
To the wall, see what sticks.
Literally. I remember me and my sister, we had like an outside painting session, and it was hot. It was summer at this point. And we were painting, and then we went up to my mom. She was like, "Oh, did you guys switch paintings?" Like, she thought my little sister's painting was better than mine. Like, she thought my painting was my little sister's, and my little sister's painting was mine. So she definitely came from my painting skills. But that was like the last time I painted, and then probably like last year. Not last year. Oh, it's 2023.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was cheating, right?
Goodness gracious. 2021 was 2021 like September, December. Because we got a lot of snow like 2 years ago in the winter. Was when I started getting into the painting hats, painting canvases. Really, actually though, I've been painting my whole life. It's another one of those things where, excuse me, you'll see where you're talented at, but if you don't put time into it, it's gonna stay where it's at. So I started painting again, and I was able to just re-spark that skill in me.
That's like they say, like when you talented something, you really don't have to drive to do it. I'm already gifted at this. I can do this shit, and I feel like it. You know what I mean? So when you do it like that, you say, I remember loving this shit. And then you go back into it, and then you put your all into it. That's dope. Like performing wise, you say you perform for Howard, right? What are some of the biggest things you performed on?
Howard.
College is fucking huge. I ain't gonna
That's Crampton Auditorium. That auditorium got like 700 plus seats, like at least 700, under 800, but at least 700. And that's probably the biggest stage. I'm trying to think because I've like since 2019, I've done Lord knows how many open mics. I've performed at Songbird before for open mic with Open Gym, but by the time I performed, the crowd was pretty like. I was like one of the last performers, so yeah, like I was tired, like I was annoyed, but I just still went up and performed. So honestly, I think Howard is probably my biggest stage. That was back in 2019, but I also am about to go perform out in South by Southwest. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, I mean, you gotta just put yourself out there.
How did that come about? Can you say?
Yeah, I mean, so I had just went out Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and
we travel. You make moves.
Oh, I do not sit still. Honestly, I'm a little under the weather right now for the sole fact that I do not sit still. But
this shit right here fuck you up.
I could be here for 2 days and be messed up. Don't know where I'm at because it's crazy. But so like I said, I make moves. So I went on a whole like South Carolina, Atlanta little road trip for my birthday like a month ago, and we got myself and a fellow artist. We got connected with this DJ named DJ Waffles out Atlanta, and he was having like a R&B Sundays going on where we could perform for free at a brunch. So we performed there, and then he let us know of the opportunity to perform at South by Southwest on the stage that he was DJing at. So I'm really excited. I've never been to Austin, so I'm excited.
That is fucking crazy. Like the moment you be like, alright, I put my brunch, and it's about to be just brunch. Somebody like, hey, you want to go somewhere else? You're like, what?
Yeah.
You know, that's
you ain't going to already expecting anything.
Yeah.
You can't even wait.
Hell yeah, that's a hell of a blessing. Like, I'm about to same brunch, do my shit, and then boom. So hold on, before you go, let me ask you on this opportunity.
Yeah.
I said everybody do say
How you keep your face? You put a face like, sure, yeah, cool.
Honestly, I'm never too cool. I actually like showing people how thankful I am for the opportunities that they give me. Like I make sure people know, like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like no matter what caliber or like level of platform, like I will always be honored and like thankful. Like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's dope. Everybody counts.
Yeah, even like with y'all too. Like, I think we had been tapped in like a couple months ago, and yeah, like for me, I just even like a couple of rescheduling we had to do. I still wanted y'all to know, like, nah, I'm trying to do this. It's just life be going crazy.
Well,
Communication is
Hey,
key.
man,
You can let your shit out there.
hey, you tell me about ways. Life gonna life if you let it. Life gonna life if you let it.
True.
I don't know. You understand.
Thank
You understand. What would say some more things that you into? You said painting. What else? What else you got going on?
Painting. So I'm also and I should know my title, but I work with Hoop for All. It's a nonprofit organization, and I believe my title, I'm gonna say it correctly. I'm the creative director of programs and events.
That's a lot of word. I don't like
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted it to specifically be that because since I started with Hoop for All, I started first as a volunteer.
So what is that? You mind telling us what it is?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what it is.
I thought I did when I said it. So Hoop for All, nonprofit organization, it's a organization that uses different types of events to promote health awareness, through sports activities. So we do basketball tournaments, flag football, panels. We do programs for the kids. Like, we just did a program last year. It was called Hope for All Day with the Kennedy Community Center, I think in DC.
That's dope.
We partnered with Nike Pro Kenner League. We just refurbished Banneker Courts with Bradley Beal and the Washington Wizards. Yeah, so we're doing big things. Shout out KB and IO. They are the founders, and they're the ones who ultimately have believed in me. So I've transitioned from being a volunteer during my sophomore year at Howard, then I became an ambassador, then I became a chair, and now I'm a director. And for me, when I work with them, that looks like just anything that has to do with a creative program where we want to get kids engaged or the community engaged or any type of creative event. I also MC and host for them as well. So yeah, it not only stimulates my community service, my love for my community, which the DMV has become my community too, but also, again, getting on that stage, stimulating my creative spirit, just by coming up with an idea, making a plan. That does it for me too.
That's dope. 'Cause do you feel like actually being in those kind of scenarios and seeing people out, probably hearing multiple stories, did that help you influence your music more and stay true to yourself? Like you said, like no cussing, like try not to do this, try to do this to make sure you can be this and be all that without going against your grain.
Yes, because again, like I told you, not only do I feel like little girls who watch me, because I'm also I've always carried myself as a mentor. I've always carried myself as someone who wants to give advice to people, so it can help.
You give me that vibe.
Yeah, like I always I always joke, like, I'm not the friend you call. Well, not anymore. Maybe when I was younger, but right now, today, like, and as of recently, I'm not the friend you call if you're trying to do something ignorant. Like, we could talk about it, we could pop about it, we could go crazy, but ultimately I'm gonna be like, nah, don't say nothing, don't do that, don't do nothing. Like, I'd rather you talk to me about it. I'm not a hater. I'm not gonna be like, don't do that, because I've done that. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't help. So, and I hope people value that. But either way, I also am a mentor to a young lady in the I Love Me mentoring program. It's part of Fuel for New Life organization. It's based in Oxon Hill, Maryland. That's another nonprofit that I'm a part of. And it was founded by Darcel and Bernard Collins. And basically they're just a really strong, God-fearing married couple who pour back into their community. They do scholarship fundraising for, they just gave 2 scholarships away at Bowie State. And again, another group that feeds in. So when I'm making my music, when I am in public, when I'm an entertainer, I'm thinking about all of these people, and to each his own. Like, artists, I think all artists, we like to fall into, I don't care, I'm gonna do what I want, say what I want, right?
The rebel.
Right, which is cool, but I think I'm a rebel in myself, in thinking the opposite way and thinking about more people than just myself when I make my music too. So, yeah.
Any more things you want to got going on?
Let me see. I mean, I did have a clothing brand that I started at Howard. It was called Cozy Clothing.
How about
Brand.
you got the fashion drip on, so I know you got some fashion.
Thank you. Yeah, I fashion is another big outlet for me creatively. I like to dress differently. I like to incorporate different styles. Like I like to really express myself through fashion too. So yeah, fashion for sure. I had a brand called Cozy Clothing Brand. I have a brand, but I need to go back and do some
rebranding.
Yeah. Do some rebranding. But yeah, overall I would say, nonprofit, music, through fashion, through dance. I love to dance. Like that's my favorite thing, casually, or even if I take a class, like that's another form of creative expression. So yeah.
So like I'm gonna go back a little bit. Like for me, like how do you form your songs? Do you hear the music first, the beat, do the beat, you know what I'm saying? Do the beat speak to you first? Or like you said, you write that and then go find a beat that matches that, how you feel?
It's definitely changed. It changes all the time. So like sometimes I might hear a melody or hear a bar and I'll record it. Sometimes I might hear a beat and be like, yeah, we're gonna record this right now. I've written songs 15 minutes before, I've written songs 5 minutes before. I've done like there's no like real. I've written songs down. I do it on my phone. I kind of just whatever I can use in the immediate moment, I just get it out. But for me, my favorite thing is always just hearing the beat and then just vibing, like just vibing to it, seeing what comes to me. I have a recording set up in the crib, so. But what's crazy is for like actually the past 3 months, I haven't like recorded anything new.
Like so busy working and doing everything else. Like,
yeah, like I have a project that I'm planning to drop soon. I don't have a date yet, but I have a project that I'm planning to drop soon. So even sitting there trying to get that to sound like what I want it to sound like, or even like I just dropped a song with my girl Tommy Tsunami, New Phone Who This.
Shout out to Big Wave.
Big Wave, you already know the vibes. So even that song, we recorded that song in July of last year. We were like, we gonna do this right. Like, and it took us a whole 6 months to do everything right, and it was worth it.
It was
worth it.
Video wise, song wise.
I feel like you feel like you got something. You should make sure it's right.
Take your time.
I see what they said. The Avatar movie took another 10 years. Motherfuckers grew up for elementary school.
Right.
Niggas finished high school and college.
I know, lost the enthusiasm for it now.
It's still successful, right?
Yeah. So.
Right.
So we're gonna have some music coming out, but I guess, it changes. So like, for this project that I have coming out, I know I'm probably like I just need to push myself off the ledge, so. It's a tango, like when you creating music and like it's like every song and every project is its own babe, its own person, right? So some go faster than others, some learn quicker than others. Like I remember I had recorded this song, Cabbage, that I dropped. I had recorded that song and then like a week later I was recording the video. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas with a New Phone With This, we recorded the song and we didn't shoot the video until like 4 or 5 months later.
How long did it take for you to build that concept? Because you got no person, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna always agree, you know what I mean? But how did that work? Like the concept, like, you know what? I like that idea. Or, hey, you know what? I know what? Yesterday I like that shit. I got something for you today. You know what I'm saying? How did that work?
So, I mean, me and Tommy, we had really good chemistry. Like, that was the first song we ever made together. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, I think you should just make songs with people you actually like, I'm not sure how it is when people
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure how it is when you get in the industry, but like, I'm never gonna, like, I'm gonna feel your vibe off rip. Like, I'm not.
The industry shit. Hey, yo, send that shit over.
Yeah, like.
But that they don't actually have to be around.
Yeah,
it's to be.
Yeah, I don't know if that's my vibe. Like, I don't think I would ever
you
be
want to
pressed
be
for a feature.
genuine. You want to be genuine because you might have to do video together, so y'all chemistry. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might got to perform it out together. So that's not the.
Or they see a whole different verse and part of the damn song.
Not
talking about that.
They might,
that be supposed to be different.
That's what I'm saying. It might feel where you coming from on the joint, but if y'all just not really there,
right?
Just sing your verse, just to sing you.
Right.
Yeah. So like, with that like music and giving back to the community, like how hard is it to balance? That's dope. I see you passionate about the community and you've been a musician and artist yourself. But how do you really balance it? Because you know what I'm saying? Someone's gonna have to take a sacrifice, you know what I mean? Like the day you blow up and be a celebrity, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be harder and not really harder, but once you get into the groove of things, it's gonna be like more harder to go back and really focus on you with yourself. You might have the intention to do it, you might have people do it, but you actually being a part of the community when you really a big star is really different. How would you balance that? Like, how would that balance?
Oof. Well, right now, like we said,
you are moving right now.
I be moving, like I really be moving. Honestly, I would start something like that. I would start something like that. Definitely, if I were ever to do my own organization, I think it would definitely be around mental health. But
that's a great place to start.
Yeah, like I think that's honestly really mental health for like a woman like me. Like I think we'll get into that, but for now I'm moving, and for me it's so funny that you asked this because the other day I was like, damn, I haven't sat and thought about anything in ages. Like I've just been going, and it's fun. I'm thankful. Like I remember there was a time where I didn't have nothing going on with the music. I didn't know where to go. Like I didn't have no friends. Like so now it's like, okay, this is what you asked for, and I think when I do get to that level, God willing, I'm gonna just bring everybody with me. Like I'm gonna just bring their organizations to another level. That's what it's all about. It's about reaching back and pulling people up with you. So yeah, I hope to still be there in a strong capacity, but I'm feeling it now. So I don't know what it's gonna look like till I get there. Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of artists say that too. Like traveling so much, you do get sick. A lot of artists like, ugh. Show cancel, but I'm fucking dying.
Yeah. Like we put our all into this. Like
I'm on the downstage. I don't want downstage for y'all right now. No, not tonight.
Please bear with me.
Then you have a bad performance. Oh, you was.
Yeah.
But I just gave you my all. I told y'all I wasn't feeling like this. But like, nice. Community is community. There's hate and love in all communities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and where's the farthest you travel? The farthest
in the world?
Yeah.
I actually went to China in 2018.
Oh, shit.
Another very creatively stimulating experience.
Was that for your music too?
No, that was
so you
Howard.
Like,
no, yeah, that was for Howard.
I can't say that shit. You'll get canceled.
Yeah, I'm crying. Y'all silly.
I was about to say shit, not about to be fucking respectful.
Nah, you're good. It was a cultural immersion trip that they took us on.
Well, did they touch your hair?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody of color always told me that. They literally like, let me touch your hair, let me touch your hair. They just literally never seen people who look like us. Like unicorns.
Literally. Which it was awkward sometimes. It was nice. It was cool, but beautiful culture, beautiful people, beautiful everything, beautiful land. It was really eye opening. It showed me how much more bigger the world is than where we are.
Yeah, you get that love from people that don't even know who you are. That's dope.
Yeah.
My man got deported from Japan because he didn't want to come back to America. I said, we're the first person that got deported from another country to me. Like sent back to America. That's crazy. He said, I want to stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was beautiful though.
Yeah, and like so, my top five. Get my top five right. Top five. Where are some of the places you would love to go perform music in the world?
Definitely my country, Dominican Republic. I actually want to work on some Spanish songs. Songs in Spanish.
You speak Spanish?
I do, but it's more so like an emergency button. Yeah, it's like an emergency button. So like if we were like put in a cab right now and needed to go somewhere, I could probably tell the cab driver what's it. But again, it's one of those speaking different languages is like a muscle. You gotta use it. You gotta talk. So yeah. So definitely my country. I definitely want to go to a place like Japan. Like I think Asia is beautiful. Definitely somewhere in Europe, probably Paris. I always want to go to Paris. So that's three.
I see that right now. I see a video of my hair right now. You perform in front of Avatar with piano keys and shit.
Yeah. Besides that, probably like, either Rolling Loud or Coachella, like in Cali. That's 4. And then probably 5th is probably somewhere in Africa. I really want to go to Africa so bad.
It will fuck everything with the dance move.
Yo, I want to go to Africa so bad, and they dance. They
dance like a
out there.
motherfucker.
They dance.
You come up with a TikTok dance you ain't even know.
Well, out of all the songs you have, do you have a favorite? And can you tell us why it's your favorite?
I don't have no favorites.
No favorite?
I love all my kids the same.
I only got one kid.
I
I got one kid.
Oh,
had two.
I don't know, right? I might change them.
Yeah. All my songs are my babies. I think what happens is sometimes I make songs and I forget that I made them, and I'll go back and watch a video. I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's how you was feeling. Okay. But now with this new project that I have coming out, there's this one track called well, maybe I don't have a favorite. It's just I get those songs that be like, this is lit. Like, so it's a track called Best For You. So y'all be hearing it soon.
Can you tell us what it's about?
Yeah, it's I had gotten in an argument with someone I care about, and I was literally like in the song like, I only want the best for you. You know, can you see it? Like, but you know, how can I help you if you don't let me? You know, so it was literally one of those songs that like how y'all was asking me about the process. Like I literally got in an argument, went home, and made that song. Like, yeah, like.
You ain't waste no steam.
I thought she was singing the song in her head while they argued.
I got something.
No, literally.
Yeah, so my number top 5, right? As a musician, because I like to get to know people and what they see in the world themselves. Like, top 5 artists you would love to work with. It could be dead or alive, new age, old, whatever.
Okay.
No box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Like, you know, y'all make this shit, I'm like, boom, we out of here.
Oh, that's hard. Okay, so I have interesting artists that I like to listen to. They vary.
I know.
So I might have to give you 6. I'm gonna give you like 3 girls and 3 guys.
Okay.
Definitely Sade.
I knew that was coming. I don't know why that was coming.
Sade is just. I remember I was so stressed and so pressed about whatever I was going through, and I was like so sad, crying like every day for like 2 weeks, and it was literally I listened to only Sade music that whole time, and like she literally made me feel like she was singing to me.
And she got that voice like
like Aaliyah for sure, and honestly Rihanna. Like, I didn't realize how much I love Rihanna's music until I watched her at the Super Bowl performance. And I'm like, dang. Yeah, I'm like, yo, I literally remember where I was when I heard this song, what they were saying when I heard this song. And it was just beautiful to see how that was associated with me. And I do love pop. I think she is the pop queen, the pop princess. So that would definitely be my 3 woman artists that I would love to collaborate with. And males, though, this is like the other side that people probably think it might be something wrong with me if I say this. Chief Keef.
I would definitely put in that box.
Yeah, Chief Keef. Yeah, I think Chief Keef is like, I think he's like historical.
Yeah,
I think he.
The drill shit.
Yeah, he's historic. Like he's a legend. Like really rock with Lil Uzi. Like I love Lil Uzi. Like it's very few artists whose features like Uzi, Chief Keef, they features. I'm listening to it. Like what songs are they on? Like I know the feature's gonna be hard. Like and lastly, I'm not gonna lie, it'll probably be Playboy Cardi. Like these are 3 artists that I listen to faithfully ever since I was younger.
I can't understand him for shit.
Yeah. I have seen him perform. He don't care. Like he just lets it all go, and I think that's what the fans love the most. The supporters.
Yeah. And the musical.
And being himself, like fuck it, I ain't gotta drop. I'm not post on people and just fuck because I'm posting it because they.
Yeah. I like people who everybody don't like. I like people who people think they crazy or they just doing out of this world stuff because I feel like I've always been that person. I feel like somebody always told me, oh, you're doing too much or you should be like this, you should act like this, like, and I've just never cared.
That's your rebel shit kicking right there.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Why you telling me I can't throw it? I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Literally. Literally.
So speaking of something you mentioned earlier, you say the acting. Is that something you're interested in still, or is that just something in school?
I would act. I would definitely act. I think acting is awesome. I think it's I love musical theater. I want to go to more plays and stuff. I would love to act. I think for me though, it's another one of those things like I'm gonna get real militant about it. Like I'm gonna be like, okay, what's the fundamentals of being an actor? Let's start there.
That just popped in my head. This question right here. Being a New Yorker, would you do Broadway?
Heck yeah.
Like Broadway musical?
Yes.
You ever done that? Like you already been in, like you ever done a musical?
I've never done one, but I would be in one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What musical would it be? I know a couple of them.
I mean, I don't want to be like culture appropriating, but I would probably be like Jasmine from Aladdin. Like people always tell me I look like the cartoon, so yeah, probably that.
Yeah. That part right now. Damn, from New York. I'm the musical. Okay.
Yeah.
Mentioned mental health earlier too. So we're gonna speak a little more on, like, I guess, a bit, how would you, in your foundation, what would be the goal for mental health?
I think one, it would definitely be based on like self-reflection. I think that's something that a lot of people fear, especially people my age and younger, because I think it looks like having huge groups of friends, right? Where you need someone by your side through all of your life experiences. Like, that's always been a red flag for me. Like, like, okay, what have you gone through by yourself? What have you sat yourself down and said, okay, this is how I'm feeling about this. So a lot of just self-communication, like introspectiveness, like looking at yourself. Like growing up, I remember my mom would say, like, when you say sorry to someone, it's not about what you think you did, but how you made them feel. And that takes a lot of integrity and looking into self. So that would be the first, like, self-talk, look into self, asking people questions about themselves. Not what they think anybody else thinks, is what do you think about yourself? Do you like yourself? Do you talk good to yourself? But then the second part would be the reverse of that, which is outward communication. I think all of the probably most terrible fights we've seen or tragic miscommunications have been because people don't know how to talk to each other. Like even something as simple as you have a waitress at a restaurant, right? And you don't like the way she got an attitude. I challenge people when they're in that moment to ask themselves, I wonder what she went through her day to be so dang nasty to me, And even be even sweeter and even nicer and just let them reside in that energy. But no, you want to communicate with how they communicate. You want to get down and dirty with them. And then they might say something that triggers you. Now you're saying something that triggers them. And now y'all look like two fools.
5 minutes of culture, 5 years.
Yeah, so a lot of inner communication and outer communication. That would probably be the two things I would want to stimulate for people.
A lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are you so mad?
Yeah, why are you mad? Because I be asking myself that. I be like, Dalis, why you mad?
Why you mad?
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Like, I don't know for working in customer service. I mean, like, that customer will make you mad. You'll be mad as shit the whole day. They're gonna leave. They're gonna forget about you. And you still be mad. Taking that shit over everybody else. You gotta let that shit go, man. Like, you fucking up that shit.
Yeah, they're my vibe. They're my aura.
Like, yeah, it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I get some other shit at home. But I ain't bring that to work.
My coffee cold. Give my shit, bitch.
Just give them
Just
new
be
coffee.
mad.
Just give them
Press.
just give them new coffee. Just give
Solve the
them
problem.
You don't pay for this shit. Of course, you check into them.
Get through it.
But I want to say, what's your proudest moment in your musical career? Just something like, damn, it's all worth it. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
When I was on the radio a couple weeks ago, I was on WHUR.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah, I walk past that radio station all the time.
My mom used to listen to that as a kid.
Yeah. So, and that was real. I've been really feeling the love from the DMV. Being a creator from New York out here, I've really been feeling the love. At first, I used to be like, there's nowhere to go. I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. And then when I tried to change my mindset and put myself out there, it was like, okay, it is people out here like me. I can't be who I am without, because I do think the scene is definitely not underground out here, but I do think you just gotta make your way in there.
You just gotta know where
you just gotta go. You know, you gotta find your way. Like, yeah, where you supposed to be at, because we all are connected just by being artists. By being like, even y'all doing this. This is an entertainment platform, right? Y'all connected to the music scene. Y'all connected to the creative scene. So just about how you get in there.
Exactly. Yeah. I said that kind of be our whole purpose at the end of the day. You know, everybody does something. Like I said, it's we digging the music. Once it's digging music, like we ain't like different pole dances and whatever.
We started off from the community.
Like if you love what you do, because somebody else can learn from you at the end of the day. Like,
Yes.
Like we had a young lady talk about life insurance. Like, people don't understand how important it is.
And there's probably a lesson in that applies to real life.
It's last and like, because we all gonna die.
Yeah.
So life insurance is important.
Yes.
So music is important.
If I was the best shows I need, fuck that.
You know,
The only one that
you do what you love. Somebody else, they might hear how you started and they feel like I was there, but I didn't know how to express myself.
Right.
So you say you might do poetry and then turn to music. You know, somebody might be doing poetry right now.
Say, you know what? I want to be a singer.
You know what? I can't put this to a beat also. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason for the interview, because you know what you love. Somebody else might not know what they love yet. They might give you a story and connect with you. That's the purpose.
What's your goals in the next 3 to 5 years? This music and community service that you're doing back to the people. That's not that long. We just said 2019. How long ago was that?
Longer than it
feels like, right?
About 5 years.
Right.
Honestly, I will probably put it under one umbrella, which is just to have probably the biggest platform I've ever had. Like when I think of a platform, I think of me being able to speak and people will listen, like large masses of people. Which means that I need to really cultivate and figure out what it is I'm going to say when I make it there. Whether that be on a stage, on a festival stage, or that be on a TV show or a TV interview. Like I want God to bless my tongue. I want Him to allow me to lead through my words, because I think people do listen to me. And like when I talk to people, like I really want people to know I'm talking to them. Like, so if I'm talking to like a group of people, whether it be a group of kids, a group of women, a group of men, I just want them to be able to feel me at a high level and to a large extent. So yeah, whatever God wants that to be, whatever platform that is, I just hope I will be there, especially in the next 3 years for sure, because I've been working. You know, they always say like when you're working on something, it takes like 5 years to kick off. So yeah, so this will probably be my like. I've definitely been tapped into my music since 2019. So, okay, so, but like it was like on and off for the first few years.
Now you're that grind.
But now this past year and a half, oh yeah, everything has been music. Like,
Right, I'm saying, what do you have next coming? Specifically, if you have anything planned, like so I know you say you take your time with it. You got anything planned coming out next?
Yeah, so the project that I was telling you about is called Polar.
Not bipolar?
Not like bipolar,
Tripolar.
but just polar.
Okay.
Like bipolar, but just polar. And I'm planning to drop that this spring. So if it's not March, it'll likely be April. Definitely want to do a project for summer. I think me and Tommy Tsunami, who I mentioned earlier, we're talking about collaborating. I also work with another artist. His name is Jalen, Jay-Len. Cool up and coming artist too. We've worked on a couple songs. Also, shout out my videographer. I love shooting music videos. That's my favorite. One of my favorite parts of it all. My videographer, Terrell Darren. We've been shooting videos since I've restarted or reignited this journey.
There's a chemistry guy right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And with me, when I'm creating with someone, I get comfortable. I stick with them. Like just like a nail lady or a hair lady. Like once I get with them, I stick with them.
How does coming up with a concept for your video work?
You did ask me that. You did ask me.
Like y'all like, do you have an idea? He have an idea? Y'all just mash it together, or what you got?
We always like to come up with a plan, but there's always a freestyle component every time we do videos at some point, whether it be how we start or how we finish or even throughout. So yeah, because it's good to have a plan, right? But you know,
it could be something you didn't anticipated.
Yeah, like I remember the other day we were shooting a video for another artist, and it was raining outside. You know, luckily I was there, held the umbrella, but the rain added an effect. You know, we didn't expect that, but it added to the video, so it was fire. But yeah, shout out him. Shout out Jay Runner, Run It Up Runner, is my producer who I work with. He actually produced the beat for a new phone with this, so yeah, shout out him. But yeah, coming up with concepts, just keep it as natural and authentic as possible. I usually always have an idea. I have endless ideas about everything. So yeah.
Like sticking to the music video, because I just wanted to ask that before rap closed up. Like 5 a.m. Like say the actress or actress in the video, right? I also had Pre My Nigga there. How did that go? Let me interview him too. Like how did that go? Like what made you like another person in the city that's coming up? How that gravitated? Like no, we gonna make a music video together. Keep it up and coming, keep going up.
Nah, yeah, shout out Pre for sure. Like, shout out Pre for sure. It was actually my videographer Terrell who actually reached out to him, and you know, honestly, he definitely could have said no, you know, but he was rocking with us, and it was great. That was actually like a 7-hour shoot day, so like we was really on our movie mode. Like, you know, I know he does some acting, some skits, so it was nice for us to both use our craft, you know. So honestly, yeah, y'all go watch that video. Like I don't think a lot of people know that we got that video out. So yeah, shout out Pre, appreciate him. Yeah, it was great to work with. You know, like it's social media and then it's people. Like people are cool. Like we're cool. You know, like we're good. You know, so
I'm just
yeah,
working. I'm
yeah,
a person working.
It's work and it's you know it's me. So yeah.
Any motivation you got to tell anybody that's watching? Anybody who's in New York and across the world, and it's the DR who like
New Hampshire.
Shout out New Hampshire.
I've never heard of nobody from New Hampshire, so they might got some talent there.
Nah, I got great friends. I got great friends out there. Nah, I would just say, you know, keep going, never give up. Like, don't care what nobody has to say. If it's negative, don't care. If it's positive, care about it, because they're taking their time to tell you something that can help better you. Let all compliments and all insults fly over your head. Stay grounded, stay neutral, and just be yourself. Like, you're always gonna win being yourself. Like, I really believe in that. I can always tell when someone's not being themselves just by talking to them. So be yourself, no matter if you want to be an astronaut, an accountant, musician, be who you are. We only got one life, so just like live it up. Like, don't have no regrets, regret nothing. And yeah, just go hard. Like, you only got one joint. You only got one of these. Like, you better go crazy and do everything you want. Like,
definitely no restart button.
Yeah, you could restart at any point. Get started at any time. Just gotta do it.
Go ahead and tell me the follow one more time.
Yes. So follow me at DALIS India on all platforms: Twitter, TikTok, SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram. Yeah, and just stay tuned for more vibes, more music.
Yes, sir.
This is your boy Sly Got No Lie.
Shampoo, aka Good
Thanks for
Shampoo.
coming out so much.
Appreciate it.
And button,
Yes, sir.